Okay viewers, this video is going to be a quickie. Someone suggested in a comment that I look at mods that reduce the availability of loot. There's many reasons why one might want to reduce the amount of loot in the world. Maybe you want the game to be more difficult. Maybe you think it's stupid that so much stuff is still lying around unclaimed after 210 years. Or maybe you're just a loot goblin that wants less crap to pick up because you can't get rid of the temptation to grab everything and become over-encumbered. Whatever your reasoning, I've got you covered. Unfortunately, there's not that many good loot reduction mods. Back in Fallout New Vegas, there were excellent mods that dynamically removed items from the world, containers, and corpses based on your luck. Sadly, we have not been blessed with mods this good in Fallout 4. But I did take a look at a few mods listed on screen right now, and it didn't take long to find the best option available, which is SKK Dynamic Loot Reduction. Using its holotape menu, you can set a chance for world items to be removed and containers to be empty. I'd recommend the 50% less loot option. Anything beyond that makes the world feel too empty to me, but hey, you do you. I would also recommend enabling the options to exclude not junk jet items and items quest unique. This mod isn't perfect, it doesn't affect corpses, and some containers aren't covered, but it's the best there is. Make certain to grab the Excluded items patch I've linked in the description. Otherwise, important quest items might get dynamically reduced, and you definitely don't want that. Additionally, unless you're on console and thus unable to use script extender plugins, I would definitely recommend the mod Remove Ammo from Dropped Guns, which greatly reduces the amount of ammo you can pick up from dead enemies, and does it in a very compatible way, without editing leveled lists. This one's a no-brainer. If you want to make the world a little more believable and increase scarcity further, you might also like the mod Loot Logic and Reduction. However, it has many leveled list conflicts with SKK Dynamic Loot Reduction. These conflicts are not a serious problem, they will not crash your game, but you'll have to choose one mod to overwrite the other. Personally, I would load Loot Logic and Reduction later in the load order so it can handle containers, while SKK Dynamic Loot Reduction handles world items. But you can load them in the opposite order if you want, or not use Loot Logic and Reduction at all. It's up to you. As a final tip, if you're using munitions and you're finding too much munitions ammo for your liking, reinstall it and select the Reduced Ammo option in its FOMO mod. That will help make its ammo drops more in line with the changes from these other mods. With recommendations out of the way, let's take a look at all of these mods in detail. Our first mod is Dynamic Loot Reduction by SKK. Even though I recommended it, I do have some problems with it. First of all, I wish it used MCM instead of a message box menu, but since this mod is also on console, I understand why the author did it this way. Second, I wish loot chances could be modified by your luck or maybe perception, but that's not an option. Third, and most importantly, this mod's item removal feature can sometimes remove things that it probably shouldn't, such as the fusion core you're told to grab by Preston Garvey at the Museum of Freedom. However, there's no circumstance, as far as I know, where this mod deletes any important quest items, as long as you load the Excluded items patch I've linked in the description. The star cores in Nuka World, for example, are all still present and accounted for. On the whole, Dynamic Loot Reduction makes the game quite a bit harder. For my taste, a 50% reduction in loot is more than enough to bust your balls, and there's no need to go further. But if you don't want to be limited by the menu, you can reduce loot by any percentage you want by using this console command, which I will leave in the description. The mod author implied in their Nexus description that somehow deleting most miscellaneous items will improve the game's performance, but as far as I can tell, any frame rate increase will likely be insignificant. The rendering budget is mostly taken up by larger static objects, not Abraxo cleaner and typewriters. Anyways, this is a great mod. It could be better if it took advantage of the script extender to add more features, but as a multi-platform mod, this is as good as it gets. Our second mod, Remove Ammo from Dropped Guns, is very simple and very easy to recommend. A lot of people don't know this, but whenever you loot a gun from a dead enemy in Fallout 4, up to a magazine's worth of ammo is silently added to your inventory. This can add up to a massive amount of ammo when looting high-capacity weapons like the minigun. If you want ammunition to be a scarce resource, this poses a major problem. Luckily, this little script extender plugin saves the day. It has two versions, one that adds that extra ammo to the inventory of fallen corpses so you don't have to waste time picking up every single weapon, and a version that is more useful for our purposes today that simply deletes the ammo entirely. Download this mod and never look back. The third mod on this list is Desolated Commonwealth. This one just up and hides the models of dozens of container types like duffel bags and ammo boxes. I don't think this is a good idea because there are some situations where one might want to jump on these objects to reach higher ground. The mod also makes the containers it doesn't hide empty by deleting all their leveled list entries aside from ones related to the Scrounger and Fortune Finder perks. Only locked containers still have their loot unchanged. However, this mod does nothing to NPC inventories or items not found in containers. So this mod doesn't do anything that SKK Dynamic Loot Reduction couldn't do better and with more configurability. This mod is no good. Fourth up is Loot Logic and Reduction. I like this mod a lot better than Desolated Commonwealth. As the name implies, this mod reduces loot found in containers and on enemies, but also tries to add some logic to how loot spawns. For example, creatures no longer have junk and bottle caps on their corpses. Pipe weapons are no longer found in pre-war safes, and neither is the post-war chem jet. This mod reduces the ammo you'll find by about half, but you will find DLC ammo around the Commonwealth now, making it easier to use a lever-action or handmade rifle outside their respective DLC areas. This mod actually makes a decent companion to SKK Dynamic Loot Reduction. It doesn't touch world items, but SKK's mod can handle that. These two mods synergize well despite their leveled list conflicts. Our last mod is Looted Power Armor Frames, and I'm not so strongly in favor of this one. While I like the idea of removing all the free sets of power armor sitting out in the open, I don't like the changes this mod makes to the Atom Cats, removing all their power armor. Vendors aside from Procter Teagan also no longer sell power armor pieces. It even removes the power armor from the roof of the Museum of Freedom. That's a bridge too far for me. I think power armor should be harder to get, but not so hard you have to join the Brotherhood of Steel just to get your hands on a set. Maybe some people will like this mod, but I am not a fan. I hope this video helped you out if you consider being completely starved of resources helpful. There are more loot reduction mods I could have looked at, but that would have made this video twice as long, and in general, I wouldn't have much to say about them other than don't use them, because loot logic and reduction is better. So yeah, until next time, viewers, toodles!